Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. We have a lot to get into in today's video. This is a very important week for the markets, and I'll be covering everything from the decoding gnosis to the technical analysis in the charts. And also, welcome to anyone who is new to my work from my recent podcast with Archaics. Shout out to him and his community. I appreciate your support. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And for those of you that are interested in learning how to decode using Gematria and would like to develop the skills so you can read the charts on your own, combining Gematria with technical analysis, or if you're seeking coaching for expanding consciousness, you can visit my website, watersabove.com, and check out my crypto mastermind or my newest expansion mastermind course available now. The link will be in the description box of this video and in the pinned comment below. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. We're definitely going to be reviewing this recent date of Friday, March 10th, 2023. A couple things to discuss. In my last video on March 9th, the day before this date, I spoke about the significance of March 10th, March being the month of Mars, and in Gematria, Mars equaling 10 in Chaldean. And this month starts off the true calendrical system, March being actually the first month in the system. So naturally, March 10th being the 10th day. And it was also happening in the 10th week of the year. You could see that right here. 10th week being between March 6th and March 12th. So we have the 10th week in the Gregorian system, 10th day in the true system, and all tied to the month of March, which is Mars giving us 10. We're getting these 10s across the board, which is a number that I associate with an ending and anticipation of a reset of energy into the master number 11. And here we are, we're in the 11th week of the year. In that video, I pointed out a big connection in the Bitcoin chart between the 2019 cycle. So let me go back there and just quickly review how back in 2019 around June, we saw very similar fractal playing out, and I wanted to discuss it with everyone in advance, and it was right around here. So if we go from this big liquidation event to this event right here, April 25th, 2019 to May 17th, 2019, it was 22 days. I spoke about this in my last video because I was paying attention how February 16th, which was this day right here, it was our micro cycle high where Bitcoin traded the highest before a correction. And if you take from this day over 22 days, it landed perfectly on March 10th. And I spoke about this and a potential bearish energy, especially because we were in full moon energy, full moon into the third quarter moon. And I've been talking about how these first quarter and third quarters around the full moon typically are your pivot points for micro cycle lows. Now, this is exactly how it played out, but the precision here was very scary because even with how Bitcoin hit the exact price that it did of 19,000, 1 plus 9 equals 10 on the 10th day and the 10th week, all about Mars equals 10. Pretty incredible. Now, what will blow your mind even more is this will show you how coded it really is. Not only is it 22 days out from here, but if you measure the price that Bitcoin went down to, 22%, and then it rebounded up to 22K 2 days later. Not only that, but on this day of March 10th, if you look right over here where you see the C, I'm going to hover my cursor, the day closed at $20,222. So we lost 22% in 22 days, closed that same day at $20,222, and then 2 days later came back up to 22,000. That's how coded this all is. So I hope now, especially people that are newer to my work, you're not thinking this is woo-woo. You're starting to see the utility of this code and how important it is, especially when it's not just the Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology, but when you bring it to the charts. When you're looking at the technicals and you're seeing how this all unfolds, it's pretty undeniable. So let me talk about a recent event that has been brought to my attention, which has to deal with this Silicon Valley bank essentially failing. Now, a couple people wanted to know the significance to this, and I'll quickly go through it. So it happened on March 10th, the same day that we were just talking about. The significance behind this March 10th being the 69th day of the year. And let me just quickly show you by the code, Silicon Valley Bank, giving you 69 in full reduction. Now, another amazing connection to this is that 52 in Chaldean, which is the same as cryptocurrency. And we know Silicon Valley and everything behind tech has everything to do with crypto and blockchain technology. So that's just one connection for you. And we saw how negative March 10th was for the crypto market, Bitcoin hitting microcycle lows. Now, this bank failure happening, you could see on the 69th day of this year naturally, and Silicon Valley Bank equaling 69. But now, I'm seeing something very crucial, which is the fact that Silicon Valley Bank only lasted 39 years. Now, if I take 39 days and add it to March 10th, you're going to see something very important, which it's April 18th, just 2 days before the key date that I've been talking about of April 20th. This is our solar eclipse. So think about this, all right? We also have, it's the 1/8 day on the 108th day of the year, all 18s. Very, very significant, guys. You got to pay attention to this because I believe that this event that happened with Silicon Valley Bank is giving us predictive program. It's giving us numbers exoterically for us to see deeper and connect it esoterically. So how odd is this? Because now I'm going to take you to the charts of 2019 and Bitcoin again, and I'm going to show you another thing that's important. Now, if we take off of this microcycle low and we go up, it is 22 days. So that was the last connection in the 22-day cycle. You have from April 25th over to this day right here, 22 days. And then from this day right here, the microcycle low to the finality of the automatic rally, 22 days. But let me measure off this day right here, which I am saying is very similar to what we just experienced on March 10th of 2023. If I take that and I measure the microcycle top, it is 40 days. Just like I was showing you how this bank lasted 39 years, it is within the same time frame. So if I'm adding this 40 days to March 10th, which would be the same exact repeat cycle from this May 19th, 2019 over to this automatic rally top, it's the day before the solar eclipse. This is so crucial, all right? And now think about this, the depth of this code. It is 1 month and 9 days away on the 1/9 date in April in the 109th day of the year, just like we had C19 scam that lasted 2 years, 2 months. This is all coded with the 19. Let me show you. 19, 1 month and 9 days, 109th day, and Bitcoin just backtested $19,000 at this exact date. You cannot make this up. Mind-blowing. So moving forward, after this March 10th date that we just experienced, we watched Bitcoin rally straight back into its prior trading range. So this was an obvious ritual pullback because it all went down and within, a single week, quicker than a week. I mean, it went on to rally 7.3% within 2 days, then 8.88%. Look at how coded that is. This single day, if you look right up there, 8.88. And then it followed up the next day at 2.23%, just like we're in the 223 year, which is mirror of skull and bones. Beautiful. This is all coded. So we can't really consider this anything else than a ritual pullback. It was necessary actually to liquidate over leveraged players and to scare people out who did not see this rally continuing. Now, I'm not here to say that with 100% certainty that this will continue up, but we do have the feeling now that even though we got this shakeout, we can't just flip instantly bearish just yet. This is a very promising buyback, and I personally am sticking to my automatic rally thesis of Bitcoin continuing more to the upside throughout the finality of March and into the solar eclipse of April. I just want to get that out of the way early in this video because I think that's important for people to be reminded. So we saw a break of structure on the 14th right here. It was yesterday, the 314 date. And just a quick reminder about that date. It was the day connected. So we had from this date of March 14th, yesterday, to the solar eclipse, 73rd day, 37 days apart. 73 is the 21st prime number, 37 is the 12th prime number, 73, 37 as above, so below, 21st prime, 12th prime as above, so below. They are the mirror numbers. And remember, with that 73, that's the 21st prime, and 21 connects you back to Saturn 29. That, again, is very important to take note of. Reason why yesterday we had a massive volatile event going up the way that we did. So you can see that this is one of the single biggest upside wicks plus rejections I think I've ever seen on Bitcoin. When you start to see over 5% rejection wicks, that's clear that this was a massive amount of liquidity injected that was not designed to stay there long. It was to essentially create a bull trap, probably on very over leveraged players. We're talking 50x, 100x leverage players, which happens a lot in this market. And I'm not here to call those people out. A lot of them are able to execute profitable trades, but you're playing with fire here in the gambling casino. So all of that connected perfectly to Satoshi and Saturn. And you could tell right there, clear volatility. Remember what I said, 73rd day, 21st prime, that connects you back to Saturn with 21. And I was having a little bit of fun here on Twitter. Over the past couple of days, I've been posting a little bit more, just trying to bring as much value to the community at this time, especially while we're approaching this upcoming solar eclipse. So if you want to check out some updates on the fly, at Waters Above, spelt WATRSABVE. Make sure you're spelling it the right way. And I made fun with this post about an hour ago, and look at Bitcoin's price structure. So I was on the 24-minute chart, and this is just absolutely incredible how this came out. Speaking of Saturn, Bitcoin got Saturned. This is unbelievable, this price structure. It is identical to the zodiac logo sign of Saturn. You could see it right here live in the charts. So I think we should move on a little bit more to today. Today is, in fact, the Ides of March, landing on a Wednesday, day of Mercury, commerce, merchandise. This has everything to do with fiat money, money created out of thin air, which ties you back to the Federal Reserve speaking today. That is what they are doing, money printed out of thin air. Mercury is the prince of the power of the air. So this is very important that this is happening today on the 15th day. Again, Mercury has a lot of ties to this whole Bitcoin game as well, because we have that 23, just like we have Bitcoin equaling 23 in the cipher. But remember I was telling you about that 40-day cycle going back to 2019? And it's from that big liquidation event all the way over to the microcycle top of the automatic rally, right over here. Boom, 40 days, just like Mercury equals 40 by the code, right there. Pay attention to this stuff, guys. This is very, very important, and it's showing you how quick this energy can flip in just a matter of a couple of hours in this market at this stage, watching big dramatic pullbacks followed by big dramatic V-shaped recoveries. So just to mention the Ides of March, we are moving out of the third quarter moon, which we just had yesterday, and we're moving into the new moon. And the new moon is typically a bullish energy. We move bullishly out of a full moon into a new moon. And that's just about 5 days away. So remember, by the code, we also have a connection here to Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday with today being 21 days apart. As I've shown you many times in this video, Saturn equaling 21. Satoshi is Saturn, and that's that 21 connection back to Satoshi's birthday. And remember, we have 21 million Bitcoin in supply. So speaking of Saturn, this upcoming Saturday is definitely interesting. I've been talking about it a lot. It will be the 77th day of this year, and it connects to the solar eclipse by 33 days, number of transmutation. This is definitely an interesting day for me, but since it lands on a Saturn day, that means crypto will be trading alone. So Forex, precious metals, CME, all of that will be down for the day. So let's go back the day earlier and see if we could find anything. And naturally, we can. So just look at 17th day of the year, and we're also at the 289th, leaving 289 days in the year. 289 is 17 squared. So 17 times 17, 17th day, all landing on the day of Freya, Venus, leading you into your following Saturn day, which we were just speaking on a moment ago. But to show you the code here, we have Friday being the day of Venus. We're getting an 18 date numerology, and Venus giving you 18 in basic full reduction cipher. Now this matters a lot, definitely, between Venus and the fact that we're in the year of the rabbit. We have that 25, rabbit giving you that 25. 52 and 25 are numbers that come up quite often in crypto. You could see that 25 right there in cryptocurrency coming right there in Chaldean, same cipher. So you got to pay attention to that as well. The fact that we're in the year of the rabbit, we can't forget that decode that I released on Patreon, because that was giving you all the numbers to consider, either positively or negatively, for the finality of this entire year. I like to see this 18 here, but more importantly, with this 77 connection with the 33 and a couple days out from the new moon, I would not be surprised if we get some weekend volatility. Another thing to mention about the 17th, just a couple extra things to bring up, is we're going to connect this to May 5th. Now, May 5th will be our lunar eclipse, and a couple things to get into here. Just one second. We have a very esoteric connection for March 18th, I was talking on a moment ago, to this May 5th, and that has to deal with that number 48. And you're probably asking, Waters, why does 48 matter? Well, it's because Satoshi Nakamoto is turning 48 years old after April 5th, and his birthday every single year plays a very important role in this market. So you could see that'll be a month after he turns 48, and we're connected by 48 days, Saturn to Saturn. I was just telling you about this number 17, 289 days left in the year. That's 17 squared. May 5th will be a 17 date numerology. Think about this. Number 48 tied to it all. Now, it is 1 month and 17 days apart, just like Bitcoin equals 117. Incredible. So another thing to mention about this is the code tied to lunar eclipse. So let me just quickly show you how Bitcoin gives you that 45 and that 36, just like lunar eclipse gives you that 54 and 72, So that's 72 tied back to Bitcoin as well. And that 117 tied to 1 month and 17 days. That's all of the code of Bitcoin basically fitting into lunar eclipse by the code, as I showed you, 17, 45, and that 117, which we're finding very esoterically. And that date right here is the actual lunar eclipse. So one last thing to mention is this 5-5 connection. 5-5 is 55, just like Satoshi Nakamoto is 55. I mean, I'm going through a lot today, guys. I really hope you're taking notes on this, because this is like a full-blown masterclass on decoding by the dates, using Gematria, using the numerology, and looking at the charts simultaneously. I mean, all here on a free YouTube video. Like, please take notes. This is a massive amount of information that's being dumped right now. Another thing to say about March 18th is it's a Saturday, a day of Saturn, which is connected to Satoshi. Lastly, if we take March 18th and connect it to the first day of Rosh Hashanah, that is Friday, September 15th of 2023. It's 181 days, just like Satoshi Nakamoto equals 181. This is all off the same pivot date. I have not adjusted it at all. Massive. So consider this, because this is all making the finality of this energy moving into the solar eclipse very, very profound. And I think we're definitely going to be watching a lot of stuff unfold over the next 2 months, just by this code leading us into this May 5th eclipse. And if you want an even more mind-blowing connection, you might be aware of Saturnalia. Saturnalia is a festival that goes between the 17th of December and the 23rd of December. And if you connect this May 5th eclipse over from the day after to December 23rd, which is the last day of Saturnalia, it's going to equal 231 days. Now, this 231, I'm starting to find to be very powerful in a decode that I'm coming out with for Satoshi Nakamoto. I know that's going to be a big one that a lot of people are going to, anticipate. I'm not ready with that one yet, but this 231 was showing up a lot in that decode that I started. And I know why now, because it's the 21st triangular number, all being tied back to Satoshi through Saturn equals 21. So if you take from the Saturn day to this Saturn day, which ends Saturnalia ends on a Saturn day, it is connected to each other by 231 days, which is the 21st triangular number, all tied to Saturn, and this is Saturnalia. Mind-blowing. So I'm really open-minded to this, and we have this 33 weeks apart number of transmutation. You guys probably are well aware now the power of the number 21. For those of you that don't think this Satoshi mythology is connected at all to this, then just consider if you're taking the second day of Saturnalia, which is the 18th this year, and you connect it to Satoshi's birthday, which would be 4/5, you're going to get 257 days. 257 is the 55th prime number, which we get with Satoshi Nakamoto. 55, all leading us into Saturnalia. So from Satoshi's birthday into Saturnalia is a 257-day cycle, 257 being your 55th prime, and we get that twice in the key ciphers, Chaldean and full reduction for Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, this video proves without a shadow of a doubt that Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology are tied into this code, into this market at a very advanced level, like beyond human comprehension. This must be high-level AI coding this all in. So here we are, we're at March 15th, Ides of March, just 21 days out from Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, which I brought up moments ago. And we have about 36 days out from the upcoming eclipse, just a little over a month away. And I am seeing that the 15th and 18th weeks of the year, basically from April 10th to May 7th, is a very key time frame for my target of the automatic rally to complete in this crypto market. But I'm staying active and I'm prepared to de-risk at any moment because I don't feel any positive energy regarding after the 18th week of this year. So from that lunar eclipse that's happening on May 5th throughout October, I am pretty much bearish as it gets. And I think the stock market is definitely showing some issues. As you can see, crypto is stable. We see a doji right now on Bitcoin, but we're seeing 500 points down on the Dow and just multiple days successive downtrend. I believe it's going to pivot soon. I know the Fed's speaking today. I'm sure that's bringing in a lot of volatility just specifically for this day, but we are primed for a little relief overall for the stock market. And if we even get the slightest bit of relief on the Dow coming up into this 0.5 fib, that is enough for Bitcoin to make it into 30K. Because even with all this downside energy, if you see right here, tons of downside energy on the Dow, look at Bitcoin. It's the inverse. Bitcoin is just flipped the opposite direction, straight line breakout up. Now, I don't like this breakout. It's very, very dramatic. It's as dramatic as it fell, but we'll be getting into that TA in just one moment. I just want to reiterate that between the 15th and 18th week of this year, that's my target for the finality of bullish energy, and everything after the 18th week of the year, I am not positive at all. I am very, very bearish on that whole time frame. So the later half of Taurus is my target for a negative event to happen in these markets, and due to popular demand, I'll actually have a full decode coming out soon on my Patreon dedicated to this. So if you're interested, that will be available at patreon.com/watersabove for the Mastermind community membership, and I'll have it released within a week from this video today. I'm really excited to get that out because it will be mind-blowing, all the connections that I have for late May to prove that there will be an event between May and maybe a even bigger, more impactful global event in October. So before we get into the technical analysis, go ahead and give this video a like if you haven't already, and spread some love in the comment section. That's what we're all about. Now, getting into the TA, I just want to show you a couple things here. We have a very important fib pull, and I'm going to be pulling up a clean chart for you guys, do a little bit of TA on, and then we're going to head into ETH and, of course, XRP. I'm going to pull a fib like this off of this bigger rejection, which sent us into our microcycle lows back in November when Bitcoin went to 15,000. And now you're seeing something pretty clean here, which is this 1618 test. Now that is if I have this set in log scale and fib levels based on log scale. So I'm on a logarithmic chart right now, and you could see this rejection clean on the 1618 as of today. Keep this in mind. So we are getting rejected at that 1618, and in order for me to feel like we're going to continue up, I would like to start closing dailies above that level. Now, another thing we could do is we can extend this out, and I could show you where to expect Bitcoin to go next. By the way, this is a Kexio chart, so it's on leverage. It's definitely going to be a little bit overextended. But my point here is that somewhere between 32 and 35K would be your range for the next leg up, what we can expect next. Now, if we zoom out, that's pretty obvious, because if you're looking at our horizontal prior support, it was at 30K. And we have thin air between this level right here that we're getting rejected at around 26K and 30K. We have a little bit of trading range right here before we broke down further. That was about a year ago in May, coincidentally, at 30K, which is a clean psychological level to anticipate. So we have the start of the bull run back in 2020 into 2021. We bounced at around the 28, 29K region, had our crown top distribution, returned back to the same area, went on for one more leg up, hit an all-time high, came right back down to that area. But then when we broke that area, we have not recovered it since. And that sits around 31, 30K. Psychological support could be flipped as a psychological resistance. We don't know just yet. We have to see how this goes. How much liquidity will be injected into the crypto market. Now, I postulate we can be getting into potentially even 40K, 38, 39, 40K is in the cards. And I've shown that many times just on basic fib pulls. If you're looking like this, it's common for an automatic rally to get between the 0.5 fib and the bottom of the golden pocket, which would be 38K in this instance. So that is normal. And if you look at prior iterations and cycles, let me just show you really quickly. And of course, these prior cycles had way more volatility because Bitcoin had a lower market cap, etc. But this is the 2013, 2015 cycle, pulling swing high to swing low. This was your automatic rally range. And you can see we spent most of our time between the 0.5 fib and the 382, but we had this wick right here on the automatic rally. You can see that, how dramatic it was, rejected right between the 0.5 and the 618. So let's go to the next cycle. You can see that this was a much cleaner rally, and it took a lot more time. It wasn't as dramatic and quick. We made it to the top of the 786, but you see where we stalled out at the second half of this between the 0.5 and the 618. Perfect, right in the dead center of it. So if I go to today and I'm analyzing where that area is, it's somewhere around 36,000 into 40,000 Bitcoin. That range of trading that we held was between 32 and 27 in the past two cycles. Am I saying the cycles are going to repeat perfectly the same? Absolutely not. But thus far, we hit all-time high in Q4. 1 year later, we hit bottom, and then we started an automatic rally. And as of last couple days, we're confirming continuation of automatic rally because we broke a structure that has been a resistance for 200 days. And technically, if you think of a break into structure, it's been almost 300 days. The last couple days was very significant regarding Bitcoin and its overall energy moving into the finality of what I'm calling the automatic rally, which looks like this, which in this cycle looked like that. All right. So I want to remind people that this was during the last Shemitah and this was during a Shemitah. This was not this cycle in 2017 through 2019. This cycle could be mimicking this cycle a lot better. I'm open-minded to that. And that would be a very healthy recovery for Bitcoin, because if you see, once we did automatic rally, we held the 236 forever. and never return back to it. That would almost be like if Bitcoin made it into 40K and then came down to hold 25, 24, 23K forever. I'm not saying that will happen, but that was an amazing cycle back here. And here we actually did hold this 382 level. We only retested the 236 because of a black swan event, because of the C19 crash. And look at how quickly between the time we were below it and recovering it, 2 weeks. That's it. So the people that are believing that Bitcoin's going to go significantly lower into 10K, 9K, whatever, I mean, that's fine. And you're welcome to have that thesis, but just pay attention to the prior cycles because we have a lot of chart data here that we could utilize. Again, I'm not shutting down anyone's TA. I'm welcoming new TA and people to share their own perspective, but we're looking at the charts here and we're seeing it's pretty clear. Bitcoin is repeating cycles time and time again. If Bitcoin was to break down into 20K and lower later in the year, I would welcome that. I would buy more Bitcoin, but just want to show you what has happened in the past. So I've showed you the 2 iterations of fib pulls. Now let me just pull up a couple things like our indicators. We got our EMAs, and our EMAs are right back in bullish posture with this green moving average above the red moving average, which is the 13 exponential has crossed above the 21 and above the 34. They are in bullish posture. Now I'm going to pull up the 8 simple and the 55, and we're actually looking pretty good. Although we had this wolf cross to the downside, we can see the 8 simple moving average is sloping up nicely into the 55. When we get that cross, that'll be a wolf cross to the upside. That'll be very, very bullish on the daily. I'm postulating the 12-hour. It has already happened. This is key, guys. And I teach all of this in my crypto mastermind course. So for anyone who's a Patreon supporter of mine, you get the biggest discount available in my courses. So it's a big perk. Even though it's a $9.99 membership, you're knocking off 20% from any of my courses. And that crypto mastermind is packed full of the explanations behind some of this TA that might be a little bit more confusing to you. But getting back to this is a big sign for me. That means all the EMAs are looking good. I would like to see this 13, 21, 34 cross the 55 and the 12-hour be looking clean. That means within 2 days from today, we could be on complete bullish posture across some very important moving averages. Now, this is a big one. You have the 200 simple, 200 exponential being a rejection point. Closing a 2-day and 3-day above this 26K level would be game on for automatic rally continuation. Let me go to the weekly and I'm going to show you the big level we've been facing since. It is right here. I'm going to turn off all of these drawings, make it clean. We have the 200 simple, 200 exponential, and the 55 simple all coming in right there at 25,000. That is why it is difficult for Bitcoin to continue up. It needs to close a weekly above these 3 key moving averages on the weekly chart. Bi-weekly, looking gorgeous. But the weekly, we definitely need to break that level. Just quickly check out the Bollinger Bands, and there it is. So you could see on the top side band, we've been getting rejections in since the beginning of the year. Rejections all around February, and thus far, same situation. Even with yesterday's big rally to the upside, sucked back below the topside band, closing within it. I would like to see daily closes above this topside band for further continuation, and that would be in perfect alignment with what I shared about the 2-day and getting above these 200 moving averages. Look at that, perfect. So I would just say, look to the 200s right now. That's your answer on the 2-day chart. 2-day chart, 200 exponential, 200 simple, and the topside Bollinger Band. If that condition is met with a daily close above 26K, rocket to 30K probably very quickly. Let's get over to ETH and XRP and wrap this up. So it's the same situation pretty much on Ethereum. It's following strongly. The recovery on ETH is awesome. We can see just a V dip. And by the way, do you guys remember when I talked about a spring being the opportunity for that whole move that happened? And that's actually what this looks like perfectly. We have a support level right here at around 1533. We have our first top. We have a secondary upthrust test. So you have your distributional top, back test, followed by an upthrust after distribution. You break into a spring and then you recover quickly into a test. So I think it would be best if ETH holds sideways here around around 1650 into 1700. If it could start closing daily successively at 1700, that would look very, very, very healthy. Now, of course, conditions would be met for automatic rally continuation if we get above 2000. This is a very important thing to consider. ETH has been sideways now for almost 300 days. Very similar thing to Bitcoin, but its highs are all the way up here at 2033. We are below right now at 1700. So no party until we get above that level. But we've built a ton of trading range in here, which is making me feel that if we get through this automatic rally where ETH maybe gets into 2,300, excuse me, 2,800 to 3,100, like around this range right up here, even if it's a lower high in the structure, I feel when we come back down, we might actually be holding this whole region instead of sinking lower. It's a theory, but I'm starting to think this a little bit more because there's an opportunity for a complete, a shit coin wipeout. There's 22,000 coins flooding the market and a lot of them are useless. And with the SEC case coming to its conclusion very soon for XRP and the ISOs having their time to shine, plus ETH and Bitcoin not going anywhere, it would make a lot of sense to me if we have a flooding of the ERC20 shitcoin market going away. It's going to push that liquidity back into ETH, Bitcoin, maybe even some stables and the ISOs. So this is a theory of mine, but it could be very possible because this correction that we've had and how strong ETH has been since, not going any lower and holding support and making higher lows. I mean, this chart is looking really, really good comparatively to a lot of other things. A lot of coins have lost 95% of their value, 98% of their value. ETH has only lost 81. That's looking very, very strong for an altcoin. I don't even want to call this thing an altcoin anymore. It's just the brother twin of Bitcoin at this point, based in the mythology, based in the esoteric wisdom that I've been decoding over the past couple months. So getting back to this, the levels I would want for more continuation is just closures above the topside Bollinger Band at this point. And as I said to you, with this 2-day 200 simple, 200 exponential coiling right up, a close for ETH over 1,800 on a 2-day would be a signal to the upside. And the downside, I think 1,450 should hold. Bottom side band, you got your 55 simple right there on the 2-day. That would be a key level to the downside to consider. Now, we have XRP just slugging along, so I don't have a whole lot to say here, but this is flagging out. We do have a noticeable bull flag. I mean, it's starting to get pretty arduous at this point, but we can see a clear descending resistance line. Okay, I have it mapped out already. Now, I would definitely like to be seeing 2-day, 3-day closures above 40 cents, but we have a little ways to go. We're sitting around 36. We know XRP could reverse pretty quickly. I don't want to keep this video going too long, but let's just say my prior analysis that I shared on XRP still holds. We have this W pattern right here, and in this W, we are perfectly backtesting the neckline of that for 30 days. So bouncing off of here could be a good sign, but we have a little bit of this support coming in below. We have yet to touch that since January 5th. That's coming in around 35 cents. So I believe I've said in prior videos that I don't see XRP trading lower than 35 cents at this time. Definitely not lower than 33. But the fact that we're just really, really slow, arduous downtrend while Bitcoin and ETH have been popped up and back to like pretty much within a reversal territory, this is a sign that XRP is coiling up and it's going to make an explosive move, very similar to this move right here. So at any moment, guys, you have to be prepared for a breakout on XRP, and the words of wisdom would be have your limit orders set. Also, shout out to the Bearable Bull for sharing my last video's analysis on XRP. That was really amazing of him. I know I said some spicy words, and the fact that he's open-minded to my analysis and shares it with the world is really incredible to me. It means the world to me. I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for his community that has come over to my work and shown some love. So let's just stick to the plan. We already know about the TA here, how I've been analyzing this. So last thing to mention, just make sure you are staying out of your emotions at this time. This is a very volatile market. You should have created a trading plan. Now it's time for you to trade it. So stay calm, navigate this, not like a bull, not like a bear. Be a wolf, follow the moon. We have the new moon 5 days away. We have this solar eclipse coming in a month. This is a very important time to just stay level-headed and stick to your plan. So I'm going to wrap it up at that. I appreciate every single one of you. Much love.